is financial risk management. Financial risk management is the methods of understanding and managing risk that a business may encounter now or in future. Here, the main word is financial risk. In finance, risk is applied in situations where several outcomes can arise. For example, in case of shares, returns may vary in coming periods, and on the basis of past experience, we can assign probabilities to different outcomes for future decision making. Here is a data for security X. This in various state of economies, for example, in recession, the returns becomes 10%. In normal cases, it is 15%. But in case of boom, it is 22%. But on the basis of past experience, we assign probability 30% to recession and 50% to normal and 20% to boom. And when we calculate the expected risk, that is R into P, that is return into probabilities, that comes to 3 for recession, 7.5 for normal, and 4.4 for boom. When we make a total, is equal to 14.9. The expected return is 14.9%. This is the idea of risk in finance or in financial management. We have defined what is financial risk management and what is the meaning of risk in finance. How we manage the risk in different avenues. For example, we manage risk of shares and bonds by portfolio management. What is a portfolio? Portfolio means a set of securities owned by an individual. Securities means shares, bonds, debentures, set of securities owned by an individual. But before the work of Harry Markowitz in 1952, who got Nobel Prize in 1990, people select securities at their will. The only rule was the same: don't put all your eggs in one basket. But how the securities are selected, there was no answer. According to the work of Harry Markowitz, the securities should be selected on the basis of return and risk of the securities. The expected rate of return, R bar, is the weighted average of possible returns from a given share. Probabilities are used as weights. The general formula for this is R bar is equal to I is equal to 1 to N Ri Pi, where Ri is equal to ith possible return, Pi probabilities of above returns, N is the number of returns. The risk is measured by standard deviation. It is denoted by sigma. It is also the measure of dispersion of probability distribution. Its formula is sigma is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to N Ri minus R bar raised to the power 2 Pi whole under root. Here is an example. An investor is interested in making an investment of rupees 1 million in one of the three securities, that is stock A, stock B and stock C. Select the security by calculating return and risk on the basis of following data. Following data is up to this. Data is this. That only the probabilities and returns are given. Now we want our target is to calculate the return and risk. How the return is calculated? It is only the weighted average of return, the weights being probabilities. We will only multiply P into R. This is 8 into 0.025 becomes minus 2 and it is 12.5 and it is. When we total it, that is R bar. The expected return is 20 in case of security A. In the same way, for security B, the same procedure when we multiply these three, 12 into 0.25 it is equal to 3, 18 into 0.5 it is 9, 24 into 0.25 it is 6. When we total it, it is at 18. That the return in case of security B is 18. In case of security C, these returns are multiplied by these and we get the 18.75. Now the second point is how to calculate the risk. Risk is calculated by standard deviation. The formula is equal to 1 to n r minus r bar whole square into p. This is the formula. Now we require r minus r bar. Here is the r and this is r bar. When we subtract minus 8, when we subtract 20.5 from minus 8, it becomes 28.5. In the same way, the second is 4.5, and the same way, the third is 19.5. Now we want to scale it. When we scale it, the figures come to this. Now the third portion is to multiply by probabilities. When we multiply by probabilities, the figures come to this. And this is equal to variance. Sigma square is equal to variance. When we get its under root, then the sigma becomes 17.56 in this case. And now in the same way, the way of calculation is the same. Here r minus r bar is equal to 12 minus 18 minus 6, 18 minus 18, 0, 24 minus 18, it is plus 6. When we square it, whole square, we get 36, 0 and 36. And when we multiply it by r minus r bar whole square into probability, we get this, and the variance comes to 18 and the standard deviation comes to 4.2%. Same is the third case. It is r bar, this is r minus r bar, it is r minus r bar whole square, it is r minus r bar whole square into 2. In the same case, 18.75 is the r bar, 10 minus 18.75, it comes to 8.75. Then when we subtract from this, we get this, and from this. When we square this, the calculation comes to this, and when we multiply by probabilities, the figures come to this, and this is variance and this sigma. Now we have to make a decision. Now the final step is we are to assemble the result which we have determined to select which security should be selected. Now, in case of security A, the return is 20.5. In case of security B, it is 18. In case of C, it is 18.75. But the expected risk in case of security A is 17.56%. In case of security B, 4.2%. And in case of security C, it is 5.45%. If we see the higher risk, higher return, that is in case of security A risk lover may select this security. But generally the people are risk averse, don't want to take risk. In case of those people, these two securities, among these two securities, one should be selected. In case of security B, the return is 18%, whereas the expected risk is 4.2%. If we calculate the risk per percent of return, that is 0.23. And in case of C, the risk is 5.45%, whereas the return is increased 0.75. If we see that the return is increased by this, whereas the risk is increased by 0.6. A risk averse person may be indifferent between two securities, but I recommend security B. The security B should be selected because return is round about the same, but the risk is lowest in this case. This is the conclusion of our lecture, that this security should be selected on the basis of return and risk according to the work of Harry Markowitz.